right, welcome to another great Zoom call. Today's call is inspired by Allie Kramer. So I'm going to put I'm going to put the mouse on Allie right here. Can you see the mouse surrounding her face? Imagine it's in lights. So what Allie is doing is really figuring out a way in which she can help her team duplicate and understand the basics. So we did a few calls just chatting, and she took some notes, and she put together a PowerPoint presentation that's only a few slides to kind of give you a visual, almost like a visual checklist. You guys are familiar with the company checklist or with the checklist that I put together that's in the newsletter. So think of it like a PowerPoint version of a checklist, and it's going to be appropriate for all of you, no matter what team you're on. And there might be something specific on the PowerPoint for Allie's Facebook group, for example. And when we get up to those parts of the presentation, you're going to be able to imagine putting in your own personal Facebook group and additional tools that are unique to your team. Does that make sense for everybody? So Allie, why don't you unmute and join us and say hello?
Hi, Allie.
Allie,
Hi.
there you are.
Oh, can you hear me?
I do. So you're on your phone.
Okay.
I see you're muted on the computer.
I'm on my phone only because I'm not sure that my iAudio is working.
All right. Well, do you want to add anything? I know you've got some team listening and some team that's going to be receiving the video. And I know this really is your idea, and I think it's a great topic for everybody. We don't really hear you, right? You guys don't hear her?
No.
Yeah, just pick up the phone was good. We can hear you there. I'm making some tea while you speak, and then we're going to jump into it.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I'm echoing a little bit. So I'm actually going to walk away from my computer. I haven't used Zoom on this computer, but essentially there's a lot of
I'm sorry. Allie, we're not hearing you, sweetheart.
I'm having some technical difficulties.
All right. You know what?
I'm going to mute off.
If you can figure that out, I would love your voice, but I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
On the bottom,
lots of kisses and
you can mute your computer on the bottom left-hand corner so that it won't echo.
You know, she is muted. I don't know why it's still echoing. Okay, well, let's get started. Hi, Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. Okay, so if you're echoing or if you have sounds, muting is a good way to go. So, guys, whenever Isagenix as a business, Isagenix as a company, and you as an ambassador here today because you really want to build your business, it really all begins with a product experience. Even for people that come in that are interested more in the financial journey, we're still and always going to be a product-driven company. And it's really important, especially with a lot of the compliance issues that are plaguing other companies, that we understand the importance of the work that goes into this to create the dollar and the product journey that is the causation of the business, right? So I'm going to open up this PowerPoint that Allie put together. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me just screen share. So bear with me. You're going to all probably move over to the side of the screen. And now we're screen sharing. Can everybody see my PowerPoint? Those that have audios, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to begin with this first slide. I hope everybody can see it. I can't see everybody. Let me just see if I can bring you on. Oh, okay. I can't see you all at the same time. So you're going to have to voice yourself and interact. So here's what we've been talking about. The Isagenix journey begins with the product. That's basically what I just said, right? So what do we do? If you could get real clarity about what your role is, sometimes once you have clarity on the verbiage of what you're to do, it really helps inform the job at hand. So some people are like, well, I sell shakes. Well, I talk to people about product. Well, I make posts on Facebook. What you really do create wholesale accounts for people to enjoy Isogenics the cheapest way possible, which of course is always going to be associates on AutoShip. You guys with me on that? Let me just see if I could, I'm trying to see everybody. I think because there's so many people, I have to scroll up and down. Is that understood? So that is your role. It's as simple as we're creating wholesale accounts. So if you ever doubt, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What action should I take? It's always about what action is going to lead you to be able to set up a wholesale account for people. Why are we setting up a wholesale account? We want them to have all the perks and the cheapest pricing possible. So as much as that might seem not an important point, it's a really important starting point, okay? And then the most important thing that we're doing next is building a relationship with the people that we sponsor. So there, as you can see on the screen, there's 3 outcomes, right? If we look at the ultimate outcome, we have a happy product user. You guys, please mute background noise. Please mute yourself if you have background noise. Okay, that's good. I think somebody has dishes going on in the background. If you can help me, please, that would be great. Okay, so the ultimate outcome is going to be somebody is happy using product. They've had a great experience. They've built a relationship with you. They're part of a community. You've made a new friend, and you have a new business partner. That's what we're all going for. You know, somebody's got water or washing or something going on. Can you help me out and mute? Is there anybody open that has background noise?
Not like construction.
Yeah. Allie, is that your background? No. Let's see. Esther, could that be your background? I'm looking at who's open. Maybe? Okay, it's quiet. Thank you. Shayna, you're good? It's not your background, right? Okay. Does everybody understand that ultimate outcome that we're going for? That's the ultimate outcome. Guys, I can't conduct this call if you don't take responsibility for your lines because it's really difficult to talk over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share for a minute, maybe. Let me just see. Are you guys hearing all that noise too? Is it difficult for you as well?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Maybe you want to just mute all the lines and then we can unmute ourselves.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop this screen share. I've got to go back and see whose line is open so I can address you individually. Shayna, your line is open, sweetie. And
Yeah, it's not.
Allie, your line is open. So with somebody calling in on the phones, if you can help us out and please mute. Joy, is your background? Maybe you can mute. I'm going to each person. Tina, somebody in 404, can you mute, please? 845, can you mute, please? 832, can you mute, please? Mindy, can you hear me?
Esther
Yeah, I'm
and
muted.
Stan.
I was muted.
Okay, it doesn't show me. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay, we can hear. You know, I'm so sorry. I should figure out the group mute. When I did it before, it only muted myself. Let me go right back to the screen share. Thank you all. Thank you, Joy. I can't see the telephones that are muted, but we'll go back to the screen share of where we were. We were talking about the ultimate outcome is what we're going for. If we don't have the ultimate outcome and it doesn't progress into a business, the successful outcome still is going to be the long-term independent happy product user, right? And that person will ultimately probably be sending us referrals, and that's a good thing because they're happy, they're sharing, but some people choose to not engage on their own. They choose to not share. The last situation I call the bummer because a lot of times when people aren't following up properly, then the new person ultimately bails, right? Or even returns the product. They don't reach their goals and you don't grow your business either or help somebody. So that's why I say that's like the bummer. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's also a little bit serious. So what we're going for is creating a product experience that will give us the ultimate outcome. Does anybody want to say anything about this page? I really just wanted to set a vision for what our expected desirable journey is. And I wanted to define our role in the scheme of things. So let me see, Sarah's texting me. Okay. So is there anybody that would like to say anything about this? I'll move in. We only have 3 slides, and then we're going to go into question and answer. So is that good? Anybody have anything to say? Please feel free to unmute and join the talk. Okay. Pretty simple. So we'll move on. This is where it's going to get a little bit more complicated in terms of information, but I'm going to really help you understand how simple it is. I'm going to repeat that the most important thing we're doing is creating a positive product experience. How do we do that? Well, we want to make sure that we're using the company tools, and what we're doing is helping people become independent and successful. So when they're independent, you're not the center of their world. We want their relationship to be primarily with Isagenix and the community that supports them. And we want them to have you when they need, but we don't want you to be burdened as a 24/7 coach for each and every person. You know what I mean? So let's look at this first section. And it says, remember that we create accounts for people, right? So when we create the account, we want to make sure we put people in charge of their account. So the first thing we do is we give them, it's a strategy. These are going to be strategies that help us to release the account and make people in charge of what they signed up for. So I always try to do this on the day that I enroll the person. Whenever I take somebody's information, I tell them I'll call them back, and I do the enrollment privately on my computer, because in case there's any glitches or slowdowns, I don't want to keep somebody on the phone or in the office as I'm putting the order in. And I say to them, I'm going to put together your order and I'm going to release the account to you. So that's really just more of a metaphorical. It's not a real button release, but I use that because people can understand I'm giving you ownership. That's the point of that. So I say, I'm going to call you back and release this account to you and teach you a couple of key things about it. Will you have time in a few minutes? Will you have time later today? They're busy today, then we just go into tomorrow. The point is as soon as possible, hopefully within 24 hours. We want to get everybody suited up before the product arrives. All right, so the sooner the better. So when we go into the account, there are, they have an ID number and they have a password. So you want to make sure that they know their ID number, they put it in their phone, they know their password, they'll be able to change it in their account settings. So the first thing you want to do is practice having them go in and out of their account. Do you see the importance of that? That way they become more autonomous with this whole operation, okay? When they go into the account, it's very simple. They can watch the Getting Started video, and you can address all of those videos across the screen. They don't need to watch it with you, but you want to make sure that they know those are there. And the most important ones are the Getting Started and Managing the Auto Ship. So you're going to help them out a little bit, but everything is going to be repeated through the videos. Then in this section here, we want to show them the order they just placed has a receipt online. And this is a very common practice, right? When you place an online order with any company, you have a receipt. So this kind of puts everything in a framework that's very familiar. They have an account. They're going to be able to order wholesale. They can go in and out of their account. Their online receipt for their purchase is under the order tab. Then we're going to go into the auto ship with them. It says right here, manage auto ship. You're going to have them write down the date that the auto ship goes out. You're going to explain to them. They may choose at the end of the month not to keep the auto ship. That's going to be their prerogative. There's no contract. But I tell them, please leave it on because there's a lot of perks I'm going to go over until we make that decision for month 2. The most important thing, it says right here, record auto ship date in calendar. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure they set an appointment with you, the sponsor, a few days before the auto ship goes out. So 2 things are happening. They're recording their auto ship date, and they're setting a phone appointment with you a few days before auto ship goes out, okay? That way they don't feel pressured, like something's going to happen without them. The next purchase they make, they're going to decide what they want, if they want it, with your help. You always do the first auto ship before it goes out with your person. Then you're going to take them over to the view placement tree. Now, why are we going there if they're just a product user? Because we're going to say to them, listen, if anybody wants to know what you're doing and if you become excited about what you're doing, don't use the name Isagenix. Make sure people aren't going to go Google it and sign up on their own. Tell them you're doing a cleanse. Tell them you're using amazing performance products. Tell them you'll follow up and share later. And then you can do the proper share, whether it's a video, whether it's a 3-way call, whether it's a Facebook group post. But the reason you're taking them to the placement tree is because you want to say to them, if anybody wants to get on the products with you, we can easily create their accounts right here. I'll show you what to do so you can sponsor and make money back like a rebate. So we touch on it very lightly just to set the tone and the possibility for what might be able to happen. Does that make sense, everybody? Now we're in the final arrow here. If somebody has an open line, please be kind enough to mute. We can hear you. Okay. It sounds like a television, doesn't it? Oh dear, I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay. This final moment right here of the strategy to release the account, we then introduce them, getting them ready for their program into Healthy Mind and Body and the IsaBody Challenge. So if you're not familiar in your back office where these things are, I'm going to tell you, you can make notes. I didn't want to load too much information on the slide. And the Healthy Mind and Body is located in 2 places. It's in the back office under Resources. It's also at healthymindandbody.com. Then when you go into the contests and promotions in the back office, you then can show them the IsaBody Challenge. I say introduce them, explain the value. Your job later is going to be to check back like a day later to make sure these things are done, if that's their intention to do so. But remember, you have to provide the value. You have to tell them why it's important to be in Healthy Mind and Body. You have to tell them about the IsaBody Challenge. Even if they don't win, they're going to get a product coupon, okay? So it's up to you to provide that value to get people excited. If you just show it to them, they're not going to probably do it, okay? The next line is going to be the community and the inspiration. So this line is all about making them independent in their account, starting to get them ready for their product experience. The community and inspiration is you're going to follow up within 24 hours to confirm that they did the Healthy Mind and Body IsaBody Challenge. You're going to help them upload pictures, like my husband's in charge of that. In our relationship of business, if somebody's stuck and they don't know how to do it, my husband will help them with the upload of their photos and whatnot. After you do that and you know it's been done, it's time to move on. If it's not done, it's up to you, the coach. See, you're that person to lead. If you don't lead, you don't create value. If you don't follow up, you're not creating independence and you're not creating success. So it's very important. Okay. Right here, we have welcome, congrats. Fit, Fab, and Free is just one Facebook group that many of us use. It doesn't matter what it is you use. If you have a group on Facebook where people come together to meet, support each other, celebrate, and maybe you use it as a prospecting tool, use whatever group you're following and start your own if you don't have one. okay? Because all of the teams that I know that are using these groups, they do them team specific so they can get a gauge on how their particular team is growing. So it's not meant to exclude anybody. The way that this was designed in the best way, we copied on our team, we worked a lot looking at Jill Bauman's system and Tracy O'Malley's system. And what they did was they went to the top leader as the group, whoever had the most amount of people upline, and that became the downline group. On my particular team, we broke off into different communities, and it's working well for everybody. But I just want you to know that this box is uniquely specific to you guys and to what you're doing on Facebook. Next thing we do, we make sure everybody, product users included, are aware of Isagenix events, local events happening, where they can plug in, where they can get the support, where they can meet other people in the community. And I welcome everybody to subscribe to my newsletter simply for a chain of communication. I don't really have like a system of my own. I try to do what we're doing today, show you a launch using the tools of the company. But this is just a way that I hope to add value to everybody with some insights of my years in the business. I do a blog, I do a celebration, I point out upcoming events, and I also go through all the company websites, and I take everything that's time sensitive and I build it into the weekly newsletter. So if you're not looking through all the websites, you at least are getting the cliff notes on what your focus can be that week. Okay. Does anybody want to chime in? Any questions, comments on these first two rows? Allie, if you're able to speak, it would be nice to hear you because this is largely with you and for you, but I don't know how your audio is.
Can you hear me?
I can. Do you want to say
Thank you, Ellen. Yeah, I was just trying to say before is that when I came home from my first event at NYKO, it was such a great experience. But one of the things that I needed to think through is as our team is growing so fast and there's so many new people joining our team that have not had any experience with Isagenix before, there's so many wonderful tools out there and websites and Facebook pages. And I was just wanting to take the information and try to roll it up in a couple notes or PowerPoint or however, so people have a guide of reference to use when they're trying to figure out how to give their new customers and associates a great product experience. And then if they're interested in the business, where do they even start?
Right.
And what can they use to reference going forward? So it's not necessarily telling them they have to do anything, because everyone uses their own voice and tools to make sure that they are creating their best processes that they're comfortable with.
Right.
But it's more of just having a guideline that may help summarize some of the different tools that are out there.
Right.
And with your guidance, I thought it was a great way to start.
Well, thank you so much for putting this together. I think it's great. I'm going to move now into the third row, and that would be product coaching and independence. So what we did was we set up the account. We've released the account with full understanding and a way for more continuing education. We plug them into people beyond ourselves, to the communities, the contests, the incentives, and the events, and then chain of communication through my newsletter. Now it's time to help them get ready on their product. So we go to product coaching and independence. So the first thing we do, everybody can use the free app, and it's Cleanse Tracker on your Android or on your iPhone. And you also have the instructions in the box. You also have ISA product with the same online information there that comes inside the box. It's important that you go through Shake Day, Cleanse Days with them, just to make sure they know they'll start with a Shake Day, start to give them a snapshot of what that experience and schedule is going to be. When you look at that app, you're going to notice that there's also the information about the nutritionist. We use our Facebook group for support. Feel free to substitute your own Facebook group there. And we've already gone into the Healthy Mind and Body, and we've already got into the IsaBody Challenge. So that would be all of the little areas of support for the product coaching and giving them whatever tips you want using Cleanse Tracker as a guide, what comes in their box, or ISA product. Okay? Continuing education, again, is ISA product. Isagenix Health for the articles. Isagenix Podcast for the audios. Team Isagenix for performance-related athletic information. Start Your Life No Matter What, 18 to 35. And ISA Movie as the sharing tool. If they decide to share this with anybody, we always are using that for our sharing. Okay? So does anybody have any questions about this page? Comments, questions? I'm going to move into the final page. And here's the final page. Okay? So now you have somebody that wants to do the business with you. Where do you begin? What do you do? Well, we go and we use Isagenix Business, which is the company site. When you go there, there's 4 squares. Start Here is a place where you should go with your teammate. And when you go there, you're going to be going through, I didn't want to write all this out again because it's at that website. So you're going to make the list and really see if there's anybody you can connect with right away. You're going to look at doing the Facebook post. You're going to start to understand the compensation plan by looking at the road to executive, starting with you plus 2, them plus 2. And then you have the chart of how to go executive and how the money unfolds in all of the bonuses. And remember, we now have more time to earn those bonuses, right? We have 2 months for Crystal Manager, 180 days for Crystal Director, 6 months is the same for Executive. All of that is laid out beautifully under Start Here at Isagenix Business. Now, you can also fill out the 90-day game plan, but don't say to them, do the 90-day game plan. That's bad coaching. What you want to say is, I want you to look through the 90-day game plan. I want you to recognize that it's going to create a beautiful structure for you. And it's going to create a structure that we can talk about. So what I want you to do is like the first 5 pages. And then call me back. Let's talk about your why. Let's talk about your distractions. Let's talk about your goals. So this process, everything we're talking about, it's a partnership. It requires back and forth. You have to figure out how they're doing mentally and emotionally. You have to find out where their confidence lies, and you have to find out where their strengths are so you can continue to help them where they're not strong. And where they are strong, they're becoming more independent. And you could become more confident either to delegate or that they can lead their own team, and that's what we're after. Okay? So that's the Isagenix Business. Getting into action. You have to provide the value of our events. People always say to me, how do you get people to events? What do you say? What do you do? I don't get them to events. I tell them the event will be important for you because you have to help them understand there's no way to capture the same vision, build the same belief, and get the same inspiration on their own, working alone every day. You know, think about it. If you're at a job and you have to go to the job every day, you don't think like, well, I'm not going to show up 3 days this week. You're just going to go to the job, right? That's the way in which employees operate. Well, in this business, we don't have to go every day where a boss tells us. But if we have the luxury of just going to like 4 events a year and showing up and being required to do that, why wouldn't we? So it's an advantage that you get to your business when you go. And if you're going to be working so hard by yourself and then not go to events, you're going to continue to be behind the 8 ball and you're not going to get that same inspiration. Certainly so you could live stream it, but it's not the same as being there for what it does to you at a cellular level. And I know all of you watching that have been to events know what I'm talking about. We also want to encourage people to plan their get-togethers, their launch parties, their public conversations. They're invitations to others to gather wherever it is, however they do. That's the first level of real leadership. I'm going to talk about something important to me. I'm going to make a commitment. I'm going to do it in person. I'm going to screw up royally and it won't matter, right? However you do it. And then for business, we're going to make sure they're plugged in. This first orange tab, that happens to be the group that Ashley plugs into.
Ellen,
Yes.
can, the end of that.
I mean, Allie. Say again, what?
It's Pixie. The end of that slide is covered by our pictures, or can we get copies of these slides too?
Oh, sure. We'll send these out to you. I'm going to put them into my newsletter. And I'm going to also have this link. I'm sorry for the technical issues in the beginning. I always want it to go smoothly, but we'll get it down. So yeah, we'll have this for you. So this square, this rectangle here, you're going to substitute your own business page. If you're not plugged into an upline with a business page, start your own. And imagine there's going to be hundreds of people in your business page one day. It starts with one. So don't worry about like, oh my gosh, I'm on my own. Don't worry. I know we're all on different teams visiting this call today. It doesn't matter. So this is representative of Mindy Shanure's team, and she has a very large group, and that's her business page. Okay. And Allie is one of her leaders. Sign up for the newsletter. Everybody, doesn't matter what team you're on. You know, my team, not my team, doesn't matter. If it does anything for you, provides you value. Explore the Facebook groups, right? There's Isagenix Business, Isagenix Events, Isagenix SoCal, Isagenix San Diego. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much, and I want you to feel free to explore. You might want to be in the ISA Mommies group. You might want to be in the ISA Athletes group. You might be in the Start Your Life group. There certainly is a lot. It's not required that you're doing it all. It's required that you know enough to plug people in beyond yourself. The last thing here are the two books that we consider like the Bibles of the business, and that would be GoPro and The Business of the 21st Century. That's it. It's pretty simple. All about creating the relationship, all about accountability, all about setting realistic weekly goals, finding out how they're doing. What can you do to help? I'm going to stop the screen share so that we can all see each other again. So give me some feedback. I'd love to hear you. I didn't want everybody muted. It was just so noisy, but I would love to talk to you guys and not be on here for hours and hours. We've had some long calls. Sarah, I know you are somebody that's really system oriented. You like PowerPoints and you like Excel sheets. We talked about that a little bit, right? Because you have a corporate background, professional background, which I love. So can you give me some feedback to what you saw? I think you might have seen this already. I'm not sure, but I'd love to know, like as a newcomer and as a really talented leader, how are you processing this? And give me some input.
Sure. I hope it's not too loud. I'm actually in a coffee shop, so.
Oh, that's okay. It's good. We hear you.
I think this is awesome. Thanks for creating it, Allie. I think it's great to have the steps. I think one thing that I notice in bringing different kinds of people in is that how we share with them is really dependent on the type of person that it is, because you know, some people will get overwhelmed if we share too much, or if we share a PowerPoint, or if we share too many steps at one time. So I'm noticing that I need to tailor how I am sharing with people depending on who the person is.
For sure. And also, like, I'm not suggesting that you send this PowerPoint over. It really depends, right? Like, Sarah, you would appreciate this PowerPoint probably going through information with me. But if you sent this to me, I would have freaked out. Like, what the heck is all these colors? What is, because my brain just processes, it would try to process it all at one time, right?
Exactly.
But it does give you this guide. So even if you just make them independent in their office and do a little bit after, the whole key here is before the product arrives, you really want to make them feel confident. They're starting with the shake day. They know what to do, because a lot of times when that product arrives, there's buyer's remorse and overwhelm. So the reason why you want to engage this relationship right away is to avoid that typical overwhelm and buyer's remorse that people get. And I've seen it through the years. It's very, very consistent. It doesn't matter who you are or how smart you are. it happens if you're not getting with the person prior to the order coming in.
The other thing I notice is that since everyone doesn't receive the same things, they can get more of that overwhelm if they don't have a bottle of Accelerator and then they're looking at the tracker and it's telling them to take something that they don't have. So that's been actually coming up a fair bit.
This is just another call I had today. A lot of people are confused because with so many choices in athletic packs, they want to start people on all different things. And certainly you can. Me personally, I love the first month to be about rebalancing, and I love it to be some version of the 30-day. Now that's just me, and that doesn't mean it's the most successful way, but it's the most successful way for me. I want to get everybody indoctrinated into what we initially started with that separates us from a typical supplement company. I think before we put in the good stuff, it's really great to reboot and rebalance. And if I get real resistance on that, trust me, I don't press it. I don't lose them. They want to just start with shakes, that's fine. But my intention is to say, hey, let's do President's Pack, a version of the 30-day. We use that worksheet, good, better, best, to make our offerings. You should streamline your offerings. Make sure you have a visual to show somebody, these are the 3 packages I'm going to recommend, whatever your most commonly offered packages are. I have the sheets in my newsletters to look at what many of us are doing comfortably. What else can we talk about today in relationship to getting started? Somebody for product, helping them understand their office. I see Ashley unmuted.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I do, yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So what I was thinking, because I know you have that awesome checklist,
Right.
but I feel like you got into even more detail in this
Yeah.
PowerPoint. So it would be awesome. I mean, I'm just a checklist type of person because otherwise I forget steps and I get overwhelmed by everything that I have to do.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't mind doing this, or if Allie, because did you create this PowerPoint?
Yeah, and Ashley,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
And Sarah, everyone on the line, I just wanted to clarify, this is just a guide for people kind of internally, I guess. It's not something I would actually send over to an associate.
Yeah.
It's more of just a high-level reference guide, if you will.
Yeah.
I would never actually send the PowerPoint to like a new associate.
No, but I think,
It's more of a reference.
well, I was thinking for me, like I might just put together something like this for myself that like I can just make sure that I'm going through the right steps when I'm setting up an associate, because there's always something that I forgot when I'm setting somebody up, or like, you know, or I kind of just like whisk through the back office, and I feel like going the way that Ellen described the way she goes to the back office, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm missing, you know?
I'm going to show you something different. This is the checklist that I had
Yeah.
created, and then the company made a company checklist based on mine. I worked with them on it. This checklist is a different way of thinking about things. I think the PowerPoint kept it really simple. Don't you agree?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like your simplicity. This to me is a little overwhelming when I'm like looking at
But
it.
let me just walk you through this just for your headspace for a minute.
Okay.
So that you could go back to it as a reference guide, and that's all it should be. So this is something that maybe stays on top of the computer, and this document is inside the newsletter each week under the little documents that I have. I still tell everybody here, start with Isagenix Business. So that's exactly the same, right?
Okay.
What I have here, I pulled this out from Isagenix Business. I took out the mini steps. This is the new associate interview. The reason why some of us like to do that is to set up a relationship that allows us to create agreements. When you have an agreement with somebody and they say, this week, no matter what, I want to enroll 2 people, I can then say as the sponsor, so I'm going to hold you accountable for that. And it might get uncomfortable if we're at the end of the week and you don't do that. Are you going to be okay with that? So the new associate interview is about agreements, so that you can hold up that mirror and you could be that accountability partner without pissing them off. Okay? If you click here these hyperlinks take you into Kathy Coover teaching you how to do it. And here she teaches you. And here's the purpose: accountability with your new partner. See how simple that is? Now, this contact list, this is part of Isagenix business. I've just broken it down. Click here for the PDF. Here's the opening lines. If you make the list, what are you going to say to people? I always use, I thought of you because. I thought of you because. I love that. No matter what you're going to talk to people about, I thought of you because I haven't talked to you in a long time. I thought of you because I know you're struggling on this Weight Watchers program. I thought of you because you're an amazing athlete. I thought of you because I'd love to be in touch with you more and I have an opportunity for us to partner up. So I thought of you because to me is like magic. So we have opening lines here. And then the marketing tools that you want to share with people, this is basically a list of the websites, nothing else, right? And the cleanse tracker. This all makes people independent. We start to teach them how to make money. This is what we do. You plus two, them plus two. Get your products paid for. Get your dreams paid for. This takes them on the road to executive. Here's Lynn Hagedorn teaching it. And here is the download of the map to executive, right? Then we share on Facebook, right? So look at how logical this is. Let's set up our goals. Let's get familiar with the company's sites. Let's figure out what to say as we make our list. Let's understand where we're going to place people and how we're going to earn money. You plus two, them plus two, executive. Let's make sure we get interactive on social media. And now let's follow up. So we're going to be making good use of three-way calling, learn how to edify, and review these websites for when we're sharing, whether we're on a call or whether we're in person, right? Like iSaMovie. After that, you have to know about enrollment forms, right? The information you're going to need, the pricing template. And then once we sign them up, we want to leverage our product coaching with these tools. There's new ones I have to update, Healthy Mind and Body and whatnot. Building the calendar using events, commit to the weekly launch party, and ongoing. Develop your point of view, your 30-second story, learn the comp plan, podcasts. Well, we don't have the team call. This needs to be updated. And then newsletter. So really, I've demystified this a bit, haven't I? So it's not so difficult. And it gives you, but the PowerPoint is just a different view. All of us relate differently, whether we're reading across with colors and PowerPoint, whether we're going down a list. All right, thanks.
This is a little off topic, but I like that PDF that you printed up. But is there also, because the health assessment, is there a PDF for that, the health assessment, when you're asking people about their health, when they want to, the questions to ask? There's a PDF for
All
that.
of that is going to be at ISA Product. Have you seen that? Have you used the website much?
Yeah, I have, but I couldn't remember where that PDF was because I haven't used that in a while, just for the health assessment, just.
I'm going to I'll open this up and share. So let me just, let me screen share again. So can you guys see ISA Product here? So here is let's see, here are the instructions that come inside the 30-day package, right?
Yeah, there was the
tools were here for sure. Let me just see, it might be under weight loss. The health assessment, daily coaching tab, or maybe how to be a funds coach.
This is Mindy.
Hi, Han.
Hey, are you talking about the health assessment that's like hard? I think it might be page B of the new associate interview that only asks about health.
Is that right? Maybe it's at Isagenix Business now?
I think that might have been switched. We used to have that health assessment, but I think maybe what she's talking about is one page of the new associate checklist. There's like page B, and it's in the 90-day game plan too.
Right.
Let me look and see what's page.
So you have it. So you would go here, right? The tools, maybe.
I remember, yeah, and I looked there under flyers and PDFs, and it used to be there, I think.
Okay.
I have a copy, but I just don't know where it's at now. I mean, I don't know where it's at
No,
online.
it got moved. I apologize. So I'm not sure where it is. Do you use the health assessment much?
I like to do that
Hey,
because,
guys.
oh,
Oh, it's on page 19 of the 90-day game plan book. It's called
Okay.
New Associate Interview / Health Goals. I think that's where they put it now.
okay, thanks, Mindy.
Thank you.
There is a page in that pamphlet, in the program pamphlet that comes in the 30-day system as well.
I thought
That
it was,
is
yeah.
yeah, I think that's similar to what we used to call the health assessment, and it's one page in that program guide as well. So those are two places I know of there being something like the old health assessment.
So here I am in the 90-day game plan, right? Everything is really in here that anybody needs. It's unbelievable. And this is it. You see it?
Hi, it's Joy.
Hi, Joy.
I just went into Google, and if you just Google Isagenix Health Assessment, a document comes up that says Isagenix Health Assessment, and it's different from the one that's in the new associate interview. It asks like your age, do you have joint problems, what's your weight, all that sort of stuff.
I like that as a fitness trainer and someone who that's perfect. And I think that's the one that I use.
That's
So
great.
just Google the words that you said, Isagenix Health Assessment, and it pops up.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
You're
So
welcome.
you have 3 ways to get it. You have it in Google, like Joy said. You have it in the 90-day game plan, like Mindy said. And also at ISA Product inside the 30-day guide. Let's just take a look at that since we've seen everything. This is where the 30-day guide is, the same one that comes inside the box. And I do believe there is a health assessment here. There's a pledge and vision statement. Is that what we go by? I think. So this is what comes in the box whenever I want to address this with somebody before their package arrives. I just open it up here, help them build their calendar, understand their measurements and whatnot. So that's it, as I said on that first page, right here. But it is different. These are 3 different versions. So with that said, what else can we address today? Is there anything else you guys would like to talk about? We're at about 50 minutes.
Ellen, I have a question.
Yeah.
I just have a question because I'm doing in terms of like meeting with people, I'm meeting with some local community representatives tomorrow and have been talking with them. My question is that by profession, I'm an RN. So in terms of some of the other processes, if there's somebody that tells me that they have high blood pressure, say, or they have some other things that might be of concern and they're on the program, is there anything that you can think of if I'm acting within the course of my Nurse Practice Act, and I'm monitoring somebody, their blood sugar, their vital signs or whatever it is, to make sure that they're still within the parameters they need to be in, or even to track it so that they can go back to their physician and say, hey, things are actually improving.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything corporate that would be an issue? Somebody asked me that today. That's why I'm asking. And also they wanted like a more in-depth health assessment that I have actually used in my business as well as in my work environment. So didn't know if that was.
Well, listen, we're not trying to be healthcare practitioners for the recommendation of Isagenix, right?
Right.
If you want to set up your business in such a way where you charge a fee and you have people come in because you're licensed and this falls within the realm of what your work is, that would be different than the average person. The average person is recommending a cleanse and food supplement program, and it's the job of each person to go back to their caregivers, physicians, naturopaths, and if they want to do assessments and they want to do blood work, that has nothing to do with us. Typically there's a lot of articles in Isagenix Health where they can gain a lot more high-level information. You can send people with high blood pressure. I've been successful using our products, but we can't make any medical claim. We tell everybody to stay on all their medications and monitor how they're doing with their right?
Mm-hmm.
I know we're getting some. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Does that help? Marcy, did that help? Yeah.
Yes, it does, Ellen. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else? We have a lot of people we can't see. Feel free to chime in, you guys. Anything else? Okay. All right. Well, I will make that. I know that, Allie, you can sort of send out that PowerPoint as you wish. I'll put it into the newsletter for Monday. And the focus is enrollments, conversations, more and more and more every day. I don't know if Jason Herbert is listening, but we were just chatting before the Zoom call. He's a Canadian leader, top leader in the company on a different team. And he said, if I wanted to make $1 million this year, what are the most important first steps you would do with me? I said, I would get that foundation built, fill up your entire company with product users fast. In there, I'd have the right conversations with people to show them bonuses, rebates, to see who wants to go for that. But what it all really comes down to is not creating new tools. It's not thinking about cleaning your desk off, right? It really, really comes down to more conversations, and more follow-up. That's it. So if you're stuck, just get out. Go work out at a new gym. Get around people. Get out of the office. Or get into social media, right? And really work it by having tons and tons of conversations, if that's the way in which you're going to be engaging for connections. So I see you, Michaela. Michaela just joined us. Well, anyway, it's great to be here with you guys. I hope that was helpful. If there's nothing else, we are ready to say have a wonderful night. Are we good? Okay. Good night, everybody. Yeah.